about a true story about two brothers. One went off the derech, and one was tzaddik, mamash big tzaddik. And the one who was a tzaddik, he had a little bit of a problem, but a good problem. What was his problem? He couldn't control himself when people would ask him for tzedakah. He always gave. There was no control. No joke. Somebody asked him for tzedakah, he gave him. He couldn't control it. He couldn't say no. He couldn't say, mamash, couldn't say no. And one time, it was the holiday of Sukkot. And it was known he was the guy who, if anybody needed anything, tzedakah-wise, ask him, his wallet's open. So what happened was, his wife told him, look, Baruch Hashem, we're giving so much charity, when does it end? He's like, what are you, crazy? It never ends. Doesn't end. We're going to keep on giving. Ad kedei kach, it says that he was so addicted to giving charity, such a desire that he had, that even some items, let's say for example the poor man came and he didn't have it, he would basically borrow money off, let's say he had a watch, he had this, he that, so he would give the borrower, let's say he would lend $1,000, he would give him, let's say, his watch, and if he didn't pay, then the guy would keep his watch. Collateral it's called. Very nice, Isaac. Smart guy, Isaac, yeah? Collateral, right? He gave him collateral. Right? And that's how it was. Finally, he kept on giving more collateral. He started giving some furniture, started this, started that. It started getting out of control. But listen to what happened. His wife said, listen, I'm giving you some money. He gave him a few $100. Take this money and do me a favor. We need it's before, it's at the end of Simchat Torah. It was before Simchat Torah. It says, get us some Yom Tov food before Simchat Torah. Here it is. Make us happy. Get us some nice, nice food. He goes on the way, and as he's going, two people see him. And then they knew that he was hard time, so they didn't want to take advantage. So they moved away, these two people. They didn't want to ask him for tzedakah. They were the guy tzedakah, so before they turned their back. So the guy, he ran to them. He says, you better tell me, what are you collecting for? I'm going to give you. What are you collecting for? I'm going to give you. So he says, we're collecting. We don't want to tell you what we're collecting for. Says, no, please tell me. Says, we're collecting for a bride and groom that don't have money for a wedding. He took everything he had. He said, here, take it for the Atan and Kala. Because he was that was his problem, Anyway.
Good problem.
It's a good problem, right? Anyway, you never lose. But this is what happened, whatever it may be. This is what it says in the Vikrar Abba. Listen to the end. And anyway, he's like, oh my goodness, he realizes his pocket's empty. He's going to go now to buy some food for the Yom Tov. He doesn't even have. So what happens? He turns up, Avi, go low, Avi, please. He says like this. He says, you know what we're going to do? He says, I don't know what to do. He turns to Hashem, I was Hashem Shamayim, everything. He says, what should I do? I had this addiction and this to give tzedakah, a lot crazy. It was crazy, out of control. Every dollar he had, he gave. So he said, Hashem, please help me. Please help me. He went to the shul. He said, let me see what happened in the shul. And over there was Hoshana Rabbah. Hoshana Rabbah, everybody finished using the etrog. And all the Hoshana, they left it in the shul. You know how it is. People just left it in the shul. And that's what it was. And they left it in the shul, and he said, you know what? What am I going to do? I'll take this. He went around with a big bag, and he put all the etrogim. He said, maybe I can make it, etrog jelly, do something for the holiday. And he took it. He says, you know what? I have a better idea. He had an idea. Let me go to the port. You know where the port, the boats are, the ships? Let me go to the ship. That ship will go to a different, nearby city, half hour away to a ship. I'll go on it. I'll see if I could sell it to the next town over. Right. If I do, I do. If I don't, I don't. So he did it. He went to the next town over. As he's going in the half-hour trip, the king of the next town over has a dream the night before. And he brings all the messengers. He says, Rabotai, I had a dream. What was the king's dream? He said that he got sick. The king, it's a true story, it's like not a bad. Don't think it's like a fairy tale, you know what I'm saying? The king had a dream that he was sick. He was really sick, the king. And he said the way he's going to get healed, in his dream it said to have a citrus fruit. He says, Rabbi, let me say, he had a citrus fruit of what? A citrus fruit that the Jews had to use for a mitzvah in order to heal himself. He says, what is that in this dream? I don't know. It's some citrus fruit that I don't know. Mike, please, if it's not sent it nicely, please forward it, please. All right? So he says like this. He says, I need to get a citrus fruit from a Jew that they used it on the holiday. Where am I going to find that? He sent all these messengers. He says, I don't care what you do. You better get me this fruit. They're like looking at each other. What are we going to do? The first thing they said, let's go to the port. Let's see, maybe there's a new ship that came on and they have something good. So they all of a sudden they went to the port. All of a sudden they see this guy, he's selling this, he's selling that, he's selling that. All of a sudden they see a Jewish guy that he just came a half hour from the other city. So they're like, yo, what do you have? He says, what do you want from me? I have nothing, because they're the king's messengers. There's no way they're buying citrus fruits. They probably want gold and silver. He says, no, I have nothing. No, you don't want this stuff. He says, let me see, open up your bag right now. He opens up the bag. They see citrus fruits. He says, oh my goodness, wow. He says, 1 second, where'd you get this from? He says, I don't know, I went to the shul half hour away off the ship, and I got it from there. He says, these are the ones that I have. I took all of them. He said, what? We need this. You're coming to the king with us. He thought he was in trouble. Maybe like customs, infestation, I don't know, from the etrog, he doesn't know. He goes to the king. So what happened? Give me the food. He eats it. All of a sudden, the king starts feeling better. The king starts feeling better. The king says, I'm feeling better because of you. I'm telling you right now, open up your bags. Everybody, like he opens up his bag. He says, fill up his whole bag with all silver and gold. He starts filling it up with silver and gold. And then the king says, bring him more silver and gold. They bring him more silver and gold. He brings like two bags of all gold and silver. He's coming back to his country with money. He says, listen. He says, I want to ask you one more thing. Give me any other request. I just gave you a ton of money. Give me one more request. I'm going to fulfill it. He says, to be honest, I owe a lot of people from all the collateral that I had, from all this type of furniture that I gave. I want to make sure everybody gives it back to me, and I'll pay them back. But make sure they give it back in return. He says, no problem. And what else? He says, I also want everybody, when I come to my town, I want everybody to greet me, the whole town to greet me. He says, why? He says, because I want to show them the reward with tzedakah that you never lose out. So all of a sudden he came in, the king, he ordered every single person in that city, when he would come, when this guy would come, everybody has to greet him. And they said the power of tzedakah, Okay, of course, there's different halachot. You can't give every single dollar that you have to tzedakah. We're not, that's not the point of the story of it. But the point of the story, the ma'aser, the 10% that you are allowed to give, up to 20% even. And if the guy's a billionaire, he can give even more than 20%. Or even a millionaire, he can give over more than 20%. Yeah, of course. You know what I'm saying? He has 100 million. What do you do 100 million? You know what I'm saying? What is he going to do with it? 20, 40 million. But the point is that when you're giving tzedakah in general, don't think you lose out. Because the mitzvah of tzedakah will come back to you and pay you back. Come on, no, please shut that, please.
Who needs tzedakah?